If your eyes are closed, if you open them gently and look around in your room, just looking, not looking for something, just looking. Looks like we're looking at a room, or maybe if we have a window at the world. Looks like we're seeing things, objects, convincing appearance of objects, isn't it? And the most convincing one is the one that is looking, apparently. We can look also at us, at our body, like, oh, what an important object, me. I am the subject, and in front of me appearing all these objects, the subject-object relationship of me and the world. And possibly it's almost hard to speak about it because this duality is just imagined. To kind of tune into the point of view perspective, the body, I'm looking at the world, trying to share this in form of this little meditation. But it's strange because it's just an idea, it's just imagined. The reality is, when we're looking like this, we are seeing, there's just seeing of what is. Let's forget for a moment that we know what is. And in this seeing, this me, this seer, is also seeing. It's not me seeing the world, not me, the subject, seeing objects of the world. But this apparent subject, me, is also an object that is seen. So who is the seer here? Is the point of view seeing, or is it seen? Let's forget for a moment then a potential answer to this rhetorical question. And let's just stay with the experience of seeing. In this pure seeing, we want to call it this way, not naming the scene, not framing the scene, not putting it in a box of I see this or that, not analyzing it, not judging it, just seeing, just looking. No agenda. And this pure seeing, the seen, and this apparent seer, they dissolve in the seeing. The subject and the objects are one with the seeing, so to speak. The seeing is our shared being. Everything is appearing within this seeing, this being, this consciousness. It's just a very convincing image, like our body. It's a very convincing thought, Ramana Maharshi would say. That's a bit far-fetched to imagine. But an image is nothing else than a thought. And this thought, this image, is seen by the one, witnessed, aware, so to speak. Without the belief that what we see is outside of me, seen by this point of view, the whole fantasy world of duality and separate things collapses instantly in the seeing. It's just such a strong habit in the conditioned mind that it's almost like an unconscious process that it seems to confirm this belief and this feeling. We might look into that in a minute. But once we are not filtering our experience by belief, once we're just seeing what is here, as it is, we almost have to force ourselves to create this imagined duality, to kind of make that fantasy of me and others, me and the world, real again. It's more effort, so to speak, at some point, to see a world of separate things than seeing the unity of it within me, within the true I, consciousness, or loving awareness. All we have to make sure, so to speak, is that this point of view, this apparent subject that is looking is equally seen as all of the rest that is seen. That it's not getting this superimposed I on top of it, this belief of me being this body, being the one that is seeing, being the one that is experiencing. Seeing clearly that this one is equally seen like everything else, if we want to call it everything. We just don't find this separate me in our experience, in the seeing experience now for a start, a part of this image on the screen, like this image of the screen of the computer now. But where is this person? Can I kind of grab into the computer and like, oh, Leslie, hello. Nice to. No, somehow it's just an image. But I feel your essence, because it's our shared being, but the image is just an image. It must be very clear that this image of a me is part of the picture. It's like looking in the mirror. I think we got this in the song last week. When we look into this mirror of the world, it seems we're seeing a world, but in reality, we're seeing ourselves. A reflection in the mirror of pure consciousness appearing in a form. Name and form, apparent things. And they seem to be outside of me because this name and form that is appearing in the same mirror got somehow attached to it this meanness, this personality, this personal viewpoint. The viewpoint became a me. Like a camera, one of maybe a 20 cameras watching a warehouse or something, different corners of the warehouse, many different cameras. And the camera starting to believe that the camera is watching while the watchman in the watchroom is watching the warehouse. But the camera somehow, no, it's me. I am the subject and I'm responsible for the objects in this warehouse. Because I, camera, am watching. The point of view having been conditioned from early age, maybe 2-3 years with this name and form to be me. And then it's almost unquestioned as it's ongoing that this viewpoint is watching the show, but it is watched. And this is not rocket science because we all experience that. It's like, wow, the seeing is, so to speak, prior to this body. Because this body is seen. So this sense of seeing is very convincing. Because the viewpoint is there. We need this viewpoint. We need to look at ourselves in the form of the world from an angle, from some viewpoint. Otherwise, we would just see a blurry whiteness. If now consciousness would look through all of our different viewpoints at the same time, it would become a very blurry picture. So it needs to contract into this viewpoint and see the world through this mind, through this body. It needs the camera to be able to experience and ideally to enjoy this world from this viewpoint. But that doesn't prove that the viewer, the seer, is somehow in here or in here or in here. In other words, that we have our individual consciousness that is perceiving. And a very simple way to kind of practically the one way to, of course, to dissolve this misunderstanding, this ignorance of a personal me being the subject of our experience is the understanding. That's why we speak about it. But in a very practical sense, also this pure seeing, just sitting in a park or on a bench in town or in the garden or even in the room, and just like we did for a start, just to look around without making anything out of what we're seeing. Just look. And if the mind comes up with, oh, house, tree, oh, okay, that is also perceived, that is also seen by the one consciousness. The thought is appearing on the same screen about what it is and maybe why it is or how it should be and all of that. So we can see that also on the screen. And we remain in pure seeing. Let's close our eyes for a moment, if you don't mind, to make it a bit clearer at that point. I mentioned the thoughts. We're still looking in the mirror of ourselves. Now, the apparent world disappeared, the outer world. No more image, at least not an image of the world unless one has a visual experience and it's still appearing in the mind. But normally when we close our eyes, we kind of dive into the so-called inner world. In which, for example, thoughts appear. These thoughts are still seen by the same seeing. Even, for example, the thought, oh, I am meditating, or I am listening to this voice, or I am tired, or I'm bored, I'm enjoying or I'm not enjoying this talk or meditation. All of that, that apparently belongs to me as the subject thinking about my inner experience, all of that is just appearing on the screen of consciousness, is seen by this seeing, by this being. And then there is another big one, this feeling of me, sensations. I am here because I feel my body here. I feel the sensations of my body. But these sensations equally just appear on the same screen. The seeing, the seer, the true seer, the witnessing consciousness is also aware of those feelings, of those sensations. I call them sometimes physical sensations, sensations that belong apparently to the physical body, like the sensation of the body sitting on the chair, or the temperature, or the clothes on the skin. Sensations belonging to the point of view that can create again this illusion that I am the experiencer in space and time, because my avatar is in space and time and is experiencing that chair, the temperature in the room, the clothes on the skin from this point of view. I am feeling myself to be sitting here, to experiencing the temperature in the room. But these sensations and the thoughts belonging to them, they might not be formulated anymore, those thoughts, because they're so close to us. It's just so clear, apparently, that these sensations belong to me, that the mind won't bother to formulate the thought of me sitting here. Either way, if there is an accompanying thought or if there is just the sensation, all of that is appearing in the same mirror. In the same way as we were seeing the world with eyes open, we can see this inner world of thoughts and feelings. And then there might be much more subtle sensations, not physical sensations, but emotions, some vibration, some tingling sensation in the body, or more subtle even, and in the field of the body, just vibration, sensation. And maybe even much more subtle experiences can appear in this mirror of ourself, of our consciousness. Subtle sensations of light or presence. Very, very subtle experiences that are hard to put words onto, but still there is awareness, there is seeing of no matter how gross or subtle the experience is, the sensation, the phenomena, it is still seen by this one seeing. For example, I am experiencing this presence of God, light, peace. Who is experiencing that? Who is perceiving even this more subtle reflection of our inner light in this mirror? It's maybe not a form how we would usually frame a form, because it's so subtle, but it is still perceived. We may went from the whole scale, from gross physical seeing, hearing, and then subtle thoughts, physical sensations, emotions, feelings, subtler, subtler, subtler. And we reach this presence. We're still looking in the mirror, and the one looking and perceiving and experiencing this almost non-phenomenal reflection of our own light that is very often confused with awareness or consciousness. But if we stick fully to our experience, we'll see that it's still something that someone is perceiving, experiencing. So no matter how gross or subtle the object, the phenomena, the experience that is reflected in the mirror, it is still an object. And that which is seeing, even the subtlest of the subtle phenomena, that which is not an experience, so to speak, not an objective experience. The seeing is our shared being. And if we put our attention, so to speak, our heart on that which is seeing, inner world, outer world, if we just stay in that which is seeing, which is experiencing, which is listening, that which is looking through our eyes, that which is hearing the sound of my voice, that which is seeing the thought, seeing, perceiving the feeling. If we give ourselves to that which is aware of all objective experience, the apparent objects, they just dissolve in this seeing, no matter if it's with eyes open or eyes closed, we remain in the seeing, and there are no objects. The seeing, the seer, and the seen dissolve in this pure witnessing into the one. The known, the knower, and the knowing dissolve into the one. The experienced, the experiencer, and pure experiencing dissolve into the one.